This is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
Is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday and welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS live stream. I am your host, James Grande, joined by Keith Iser. Keith, happy Tuesday. What's going on, brother?
Happy Tuesday. Not too much. Nice little MLK Day slate yesterday. Coming back with another nice offering here tonight. So another fun night of NBA action going on.
Yeah, I had a good start. I cashed the first two slates, and then I had Jimmy Butler in the late slate. So hopefully Jimmy Butler gets well soon. That was a brutal end to his season. And, you know, what was like the year and a half of the calf has now turned into the year of the knee. We're back. I feel like the last few injuries have been the knee, where like everything else was like calf. And now it's like, oh no, we're reverting back to like the MCL and the ACL and all the bad CL tears you could possibly have. But was a good slate. Dude, such a fun 7-gamer when you just look and there's only one 7 p.m. game and they're forced to require, like, you have to require the 10 p.m.s. What a sight to behold. What's some of your like initial thoughts on this 7-gamer? Because again, we have 3 10 p.m. games, only one game at 7. We still have a bunch, like, not a bunch of injury news to sift through, but there's been some significant rule outs already throughout the day. Like what piqued your interest at first look today?
Yeah, I mean, takes us back a little ways to the good old days of DFS, right? Where our lineups are probably going to look a lot different at 9 p.m. than they did at 7 p.m. Like there's going to be some maneuverings to be had. You can make some decisions after you get a little bit more information, things like that. Adds another element, another layer to this game that we play. But the Butler situation, obviously, with what Golden State is dealing with now, I think is very interesting on this slate. We know that Steve Kerr is a coach that likes to change up his rotations for no apparent reasons.
Oh boy.
I think Golden State there's opportunities for some underpriced players in Golden State, but I think the field is going to congregate to a lot of them, and finding a couple that are off the board in Golden State might be a way to get different on this slate.
Yeah, and there's like 4 of those players listed questionable on the injury report. So
Right.
We don't even know which of them are going to play because we got their injury report since it was a back-to-back. They can report later. Will Richard, Guy Santos, Draymond, all listed questionable. Melton off the injury report. We know Al Horford's not playing second leg. So it is. Golden State is a very intriguing spot. Utah is as well because, you know, they are doing whatever they're doing. Utah's going to be fascinating tonight, Keith, because guess who was not listed on the injury report?
Is it Nurkic?
It is. David Schneider says Nurkic, question mark. They ruled out Markkanen, they ruled out Sensabaugh, and they said Yusuf. They ruled out Kevin Love. They said Yusuf. How do you feel about a back-to-back tonight? Ready? You good? We'll get into all that. If you guys are new here, welcome. We do this 5 times a week, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern. We do a preview show that Keith will be on with me tonight. We'll have that out tonight. You can watch that in the morning, whenever you want. If you are new here, hit the like button. If you're not new here, hit the like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you don't already. We appreciate it greatly. We are going to go position by position. We'll check in with the folks here, Keith. Jeff is here. Good evening. Fine gentlemen. I see through you, always here. Spin Block saying sup to both of us. Salute to those that see all parties involved. David's talking about Yusuf Nurkic. Why wouldn't you? And MG says hot take by me calling Anthony Edwards good at basketball. Yeah, hot take. That was my hot take of the morning show, that he's good at basketball. Also, should have been Curry's more popular, but I think he should have been first team NBA All-Star game starter over Curry. But I digress. Yeah. Okay, I don't know if you disagree. Agree.
No, I agree. Ant is better than Curry at this stage, and should be starting the All-Star game. Yes, I'm on your side there.
Casey, what's going on? Still in the old X machine. We appreciate you tuning in wherever you guys view us. We appreciate everybody. And Steve, playbook was fantastic. Thank you. I did the playbook. I will take all the credit for that one.
Yes, sir. It was a good one. I had a nice little sweat in the $12 single entry last night. I was up to 8 late in that Golden State game, but did not have Heald or Podziemski, who both had nice fourth quarters. But yeah, I had a low-owned post, and who was the other I had another Golden State piece, Moody, who did well.
Yeah, Moody was great. Yeah, Moody was great.
So your playbook was spot on. I didn't do a ton of research yesterday. I was busy doing some other things, but read the playbook, threw some lineups in, had a nice little sweat on the late slate. So agreed. Great playbook, sir.
Appreciate it, guys. You can check the playbook out now on fantasyalarm.com. The QR code up in the left-hand corner of your screen gets you 50% off the Playbook Pro package, coming equipped with the lineup generator, the projections that both Keith and I work on, the playbooks that both Keith and I work on, the Discord that both Keith and I are commenting in all the time. So let's get into the slate. Keith, point guard is a very fascinating position today because there are, and this is what I like, I think, about the big slates, right? Like the late, not 4-game slates that end and you're missing. We have 5-6 point guards that you can spend up on over 8K, in my opinion, that I feel like you can make a case for, like, yeah, that's my top point guard of the day.
Yeah, it's hard to pick just one of these guys. They're all absolutely phenomenal. Luka's up at like 1.7 fantasy points per minute without Austin Reeves. The ceiling hasn't come here recently, but he's been kind of dealing with a little bit of a growing thing. Completely off the injury report now, though. So rested on the back-to-back, played on Sunday, and then is now completely off the injury report. So assuming that we're getting like 38 minutes of Luka Doncic again, great matchup against Denver, who has really struggled on defense this year. Awesome spot for Luka. Jamal Murray has been absolutely incredible without Nikola Jokic. Obviously, that game last game they got absolutely blown out, but we
can ignore it. We'll ignore that game.
Yeah, just throw it out. He's been absolutely incredible without Jokic. So feel really good about going right back to him. The Lakers don't play any defense either, so really love both point guards in this game. Harden has perhaps the best matchup of the bunch, and no Kawhi Leonard. So Harden against the Bulls, coming off a couple of ceiling games in his own right. Tons of usage now without Kawhi. Harden looks fantastic. Maxey has no Joel Embiid. Like, it just doesn't stop. All 4 of these guys are absolutely just insane. Legit, you could call them the best play on the slate. We know Maxey's going to play close to 40 minutes, even on a back-to-back. He plays more minutes than anyone in the entire league.
Yep.
The usage without Embiid is up around like 33%. It's just absolutely elite. For some reason, his price is still below 10,000. So all 4 of those guys, absolutely nothing bad to say about any of them. And then we get to Steph Curry, who is now without Jimmy Butler. I don't think he has quite the ceiling of the other 4, but without Butler, like, you have to factor in the chance that he can score just 40 actual tonight. Certainly in his bag. So don't have a lot bad to say about Steph either. Just not, I don't think he has quite the peripheral upside that the other guys do. So even though he's cheaper, I would still have him 5th on the list here.
I agree to an extent, but we have done this for too long to know that there is an explosion of Steph Curry 3-pointers 1 quarter away.
Yep.
It takes 1 quarter for Steph to break a slate, honestly, because he hit 6 threes in the third quarter. You're like, Steph has 40 going into the fourth. Like, this is this changed quickly. I disagree, or I don't disagree with anything really. The Luka front, he's getting no ownership. That's, I think, your best leverage, and a lot of ownership has opened up throughout the day. Well, Anthony's put a couple in the chat. We'll talk about that in a second. I just haven't gotten to Luka a lot today, and that's probably a detriment to the one lineup approach. I have largely lived in the Harden, Maxey, Murray, Curry Keontae George world. That's like really where I've lived. Dominic just asked us to rank them. It's hard. Like, I think you can probably make a case for any singular one of them to be number one. Harden and Maxey are two guys coming off back-to-backs, but like Harden has, I think, probably the second best matchup on the board. Minnesota probably has the best matchup on the board. Utah's actually left Chicago in pace and they're worse defensively. So I would say, I don't know. I'll go Harden 1 because I think he's going to play 40 minutes in a competitive game. Huge pace up spot. I'll go Maxey 2, Murray 3, Curry 4, Luka 5. But I hate ranking Luka 5. But he's just he's also $1,600 more than any other person on this list.
Yeah, I think they have similar upside because of their situations.
Right.
Like Luka's without Reeves, but Maxey's also without Embiid, Harden without Kawhi, and Murray without Jokic. They're all without their other star. Dude. Yeah, like they're all just phenomenal plays. I'm higher on Luka today, and maybe it's just because the field is off of him. In the matchup against Denver, I think is intriguing. Okay. The fact he's off the injury report. I think we see the ceiling like 40-minute Luka again, which we have not seen in quite some time. And I think that's why the field is kind of shying away from him. He's been playing closer to mid-30s than he has to upper 30s recently. But I think that could change tonight. I
feel like I'm not like, I just don't look at a Harden or like a Clipper-less Kawhi or a Joel Embiid-less Philly team or Jokic-less Denver team. I don't look at Luka much different, or the other three much different than Luka without those other stars. And that's kind of why I had Luka 5th. Because I acknowledge that he can go crazy and score you 80 fantasy points. But like Harden can do that. Maxey can do that. Murray just scored 40-something 2 games. And I'm saving money and possibly can get 2 of those guys. Where like if I'm playing Luka, I can't get Now I'm guaranteed to play Walter Clayton and Brandon Pajemski and all these like chalk backup guards, right? So that's my take. Again, I think Luka looks good. I think the other point guards look better, but I understand where you're coming from. You don't often see Luka Doncic under 10% rostered.
Exactly. And I think you made some great points there. I think per dollar, they're all in like that exact same range. My argument would be that Luka gets 80 more often than these other guys do, which it's not going to happen often, but when you do get that 80-pointer from Luka, like it breaks the slate. It's something that you need. And if you can get that at under 10%, well, you're sitting really pretty then.
Let's talk about the rest of point guard. I briefly mentioned Keontae George. He's 81. Russell Westbrook, 77. Fox, Quickly, DiVincenzo, Gillespie. That kind of rounds out like the rest of the mid tier. Like, are there any priorities in that range?
Keontae, I would say, is the only one that I'm actively making sure that I get to. Just he's been incredible this season. Just scores 40 fantasy points basically every night. Still a little bit too cheap. It's a tough matchup, sure, but no marketing. I've played a ton of Keontae George. I'm not going to stop now.
Yeah, I would say Keontae, and I think that's Anthony brought up Keontae. I swear he said something about Keontae George.
He said
our Maxey and George lineup blocks. Yeah. PG. Okay, never mind. Well, that's a PG question. He's a Philly guy. That's definitely a PG question. We'll see if PG plays. He's listed questionable. Maxey, we just did a whole breakdown on that tier. Maxey's definitely playable.
Yes.
Jamal Murray can definitely get us 60 tonight. Agreed.
For sure.
What do you? I like Russell Westbrook tonight. Would be my other kind of take here. Playing extremely well. Pace up spot against Miami. The minutes have been, I think, the most interesting thing because Sabonis has come back. Dennis Schroeder came off off his suspension, and like the minutes haven't tailed off for Westbrook. And he's gone for 40 plus and 5 straight. His price dropped for $500 on DraftKings. Just a tournament play. Like, he still gets it done. He's been very efficient scoring the basketball. Any Westbrook thoughts?
I don't have much to add there. I like the take. I like the game environment a ton. Two fast-paced teams. I'm going to play a lot of Miami, so getting to some Westbrook on the other side of that is definitely appealing.
Love that comment, by the way. We'll talk about Miami because we had Miami. I think is very important tonight, and a very important recency bias conversation too with Miami, because a lot of it was very floppy last night. And we had a comment in Discord today, like, "Oh, I played all those guys and they stunk last night." Well, tonight is a new night, and that's what NBA DFS presents. But I largely agree. I don't think there's anything else. Let's just go to the value range, shall we? Because I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. Like, Quentin Grimes could be a guy who gets extended if Paul George is out, but like also doesn't necessarily need to. Like, Kelly Oubre is back playing a bunch of minutes. The whole field is playing two guys at point guard. Brandon Pajemski, whose price inexplicably dropped $700 after, and they obviously put up the slate before the game, but just like no reason that the price would drop that much anyway. Like, even if you excluded last game, $700, and then Walter Clayton Jr., $3,700 point guard, shooting guard. What are your thoughts on both those guys?
Yeah, both look really good. I don't have any problem with the ownership. I like Pods has just had this role here recently.
Yes.
And it can only improve from here with Butler going out.
Agreed.
And then Clayton has Sensabaugh and a bunch of other role players out for the Jazz, including Markkanen as well. So I think that role is pretty secure. I don't have anything bad to say. I do like a pivot. He is also small forward eligible, if you would prefer to talk about him there.
Oh, yeah.
But he's one of my favorite plays on the slate. Yeah, we might as well just go ahead and get out of the way. DeAnthony Melton is, I think, an amazing tournament play. He's been incredible in limited minutes anyway.
Yes.
Now he's off the injury report, and Jimmy Butler is not standing in his way. Like, he's been the usage dude off the bench. If he runs into like 28 minutes tonight, he could absolutely smash his price tag. I know he's a little bit more expensive than Pajemski, but man, he's also like a fourth of the ownership. It's an amazing pivot.
I could not agree more. I am the conductor, one of the conductors of like the Anthony Melton train. That dude, he's just a very good fantasy player. For whatever you think about the Anthony Melton, every stop he has made throughout his whole career, he's good. You spoke about the usage rate, and I removed Jonathan Kuminga from this equation because obviously, like, super high usage player. No Butler or Kuminga this year. Well into the hundreds in minute sample. 29% usage, 1.2 fantasy points per minute. Dude, that is like really legit stuff. If you now, like you said it, the 25 minutes has kind of been like the cap so far. He is coming off a major knee injury, and that's basically been the reason behind it. But the Butler injury does make you wonder, like, he's gotten through over a month now. I mean, we're talking about a month and a half of basketball where he's been able to handle a pretty good role. He's already been in the closing lineup a lot. Makes you wonder if they start kind of, 26, 27, 28 minutes here, right? Like, you see DeAnthony Melton play the final 10 minutes of the game and it gets up to 28. So he is, like, of the peripheral pieces of Golden State, definitively the best fantasy player. It's just, will he get more minutes than everyone? Or, like, will he get enough minutes to pay it off? But, like, I'm all, if DeAnthony Melton played 27 minutes tonight, he might score you like 40 fantasy points.
Yes, that's exactly it. And even if he doesn't, even if he plays 24 minutes, he still is going to pay off 4,800, I think. So that additional upside with what if he plays an extra 4 minutes? Like, that is a big deal for, like, as good of a fantasy player as he is, especially when you're comparing him to guys like Moody and Pajemski, who they're not great fantasy players. Like, they're fine. They're around a point per minute, but Melton is better. You said it. Melton is the best fantasy player of these peripheral guys. So I'm highly intrigued. I love that the ownership is sitting where it's at. I hope that doesn't change. Like, I hope they don't. I don't think he'll start, but I really hope they keep him off the bench in that high usage role where he can, like, we've seen it. 21 minutes, 39 fantasy points. Like, that's obviously a bit of an outlier, but
right.
18 minutes, 29 fantasy points. Like, it's all throughout the game log. Like, he just has these eruption spots in not a ton of minutes. I think there's a decent chance that he plays a few more minutes tonight too.
Yeah, I think he wouldn't start unless like everyone else is ruled out. Like all the questionables are ruled out. Like Draymond, Guy Santos, and Will Richard. Yeah. Then maybe there's a chance, but even then, but who cares? Like that would be better, even if he doesn't, because he's still playing a bunch of minutes in that case. I completely agree. And again, not to slight Pajemski or Walter Clayton here, but I do think De'Anthony Melton is a really nice pivot as well. Anything else we need to talk about? We have a couple point guard questions that we'll hit on now.
I mean, there's some other names you could throw out. I just don't think any of them are near as strong as the three that we just talked about. Davion Mitchell is close to that range, I would say. I think he's a fine pivot. I don't think he has quite the upside.
Hold on. Timeout. I'm calling timeout.
Yep.
I see through you. Bro, are you kidding me?
Nice.
Thanks, dude. Sorry, Keith. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's well worth the interruption. That's
gifted five memberships to the YouTube family. I see through you. We appreciate you greatly, man. That is amazing. Thank you. Welcome to all the five that were just blessed with a gifted subscription. Please thank IC3 in the chat. You guys now have the emojis if you want to throw them in the chat. We have custom emojis. We are going to do some member-only streams coming down the pipeline, either for basketball or for baseball. Something big working for the fantasy baseball podcast as well. So greatly appreciate you, dude. That you did not have to do that, but we appreciate that support. You always go above and beyond for your support for Fantasy Alarm. We appreciate you very, very much. So salute to you and everything that you do for us. We appreciate that greatly. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Sorry, awesome, Keith. Were you talking Dylan Harper?
I was about to talk Dylan Harper. Okay. I was talking Davion Mitchell is where I was at. Just saying a very good play, a fine play. I think he's a little bit too cheap for his role. Probably not quite the upside of a Pajemski or Clayton. But I mean, he's live for 10 assists. Like there's no doubt he could sneak into a double-double. So good upside, but not quite the upside of the other two. Harper is the other guy that I want to mention because he's kind of that microwave scorer type guy who can get it done in a hurry. The minutes have kind of crept into the mid-20s here though, a couple of times as well, which is really nice to see. Just a very good scorer. I think that you could chase that a little bit.
Agreed. Damn, that was so cool. Anthony did say it was Keontae George. I don't think he's a lock, but I think he's definitely in play. This is an interesting one. De'Anthony Melton over Will Richard, and we're gonna go to shooting guard. So we can just talk about it now. It's like different pricing, obviously, but like if in a vacuum, Melton over Richard.
Yeah, I mean he's a better fantasy player. He's going to have less ownership. Like that is exactly what I was alluding to at the top of the show when I said there's some intriguing pivots on Golden State. It's this Melton situation has me extremely intrigued. Now Richard has a chance to play 30 minutes tonight. Without Butler, he's started recently as well. Like I think he probably could play 30 minutes, but I think Melton can outscore him even if he doesn't get that bump in minutes that we talked about. Like Melton in 24 minutes, I would take over Richard in 30 minutes.
Agreed. I'd assume he starts tonight so long as he's off the gets off the injury report. So, but I do think De'Anthony Melton's Will Richard's a fine play at 3,500. It's very cheap and he's been productive when he's out there. Let's go back to the top of the list. To Ant-Man or not to Ant-Man? I mean, the spot is undeniably good. It just, how does he score a double nickel in 3 quarters against Utah is the question.
Yeah, I would feel better about this if Markkanen were playing,
Yeah,
because we've
agreed.
seen the Jazz able to keep up when they have Markkanen
Yeah.
and Keontae and Nurkic on the floor. Without Markkanen and possibly without Nurkic, now you have to be a little bit concerned about the score getting out of hand here. So I wouldn't call Ant my favorite spend up. I like the point guards a ton. Probably like 4 of the point guards better than Ant, but like you said, it is the absolute nut spot. If Utah does manage to keep up, then he becomes maybe the best play on the slate. So,
yeah, he's optimal, right? Like he's just
yes,
like gonna be
right. If he plays 35 minutes, he's probably going to be optimal.
for sure, for sure. What about the rest of like the top tier shooting guard? We had a Jalen Green comment earlier. I have no interest in Jalen Green. I don't know if you have any different opinion, but
I mean, we haven't seen a minutes restriction announced. I haven't that I've seen anyway. Maybe
they said they said he's gonna be heavily watched.
Yeah, like there's no chance he plays more than like 24 minutes. I don't think so. No, thanks.
No. What about like Durant, Booker? Anthony has a Booker question. We have Brandon Ingram 79, Edgecombe 72, Norm 7K.
Yeah, Norm's the one that really stands out there. I think Ingram's interesting because of how much Golden State I will have. Just to maybe get into that game environment a little bit more, I'll play some Ingram. But Norm is the guy that I really want to talk about. He wasn't great yesterday, but he gets a better matchup today. Sacramento is one of the elite matchups in the league. Like they play fast and they don't play any defense.
Yep.
I think that Norm absolutely crushes in this spot.
Yeah, and this is just kind of what I was alluding to earlier when it comes to like recency bias. You got to have a goldfish memory and flush yesterday's game. You just move on to today. He still took 16 shots, and that's going to happen again. Like he's going to lead the team in shot attempts nightly without Tyler Hero. So love Norm again, going right back to that would be my pick as well. And hat tip to Ingram. Anthony, I don't have like anything bad to say about Devin Booker, just not my cup of tea personally tonight.
Well, I do kind of have something bad. The ceiling hasn't been great anyway, and now we're adding Jalen Green. Like like no thanks.
Yeah, I was like kindly moving away from Devin Booker. You know, it was like just kind of like slowly moving away from it.
Yeah, I'll put the hard stamp on it.
Okay,
just a big no, thank you for me.
What's next? Is it just Jaime Jaquez Jr.? I cover boyed Jaime Jaquez Jr. tonight. I was very bullish on him yesterday. I'm very bullish on him again today. He led the team in passes made and passes received, had 13 potential assists last night, missed all his shots, and still had 30 fantasy points. I'm back in. I'm like all the way back in on Jaquez tonight.
Yeah, I love that. Like I said, this is one of the top game environments of the slate. So I actually like that they Jaquez was fine. I wouldn't call him failing yesterday. Bam certainly failed. Powell was probably a failure. I wouldn't call Jaquez a failure yesterday. But I love your points there. Like he does so much that even when he struggles, he can still get there. He's too cheap for this role that he has. So I'm with you. Give me as much Jaime Jaquez as I can get.
Yeah, and we know his game is getting downhill, scoring at the rim. The Kings allow as many points in the paint as anyone else in the NBA.
Yep.
What else about this 5K tier and under do you like?
Let's see here. Honestly, not a lot. Like Grayson Allen, somebody I've played a lot recently, but with Green coming back, that's pretty tough. You nightmare. have to think he takes a usage hit there, even though he's been shooting the lights out. It's sad to see. I don't see anything.
What about Jordan Miller?
Yeah, I love the game environment. Obviously, he's had a fantastic role. The price is just now creeping up to a point where I don't know if he can continue to do what he's doing at the level to pay off the $5,400 price tag is my concern. At $4,400, I was very in on this role. I don't know what, maybe you have a different thought. It feels like a tough price tag for a player who has not done this from a fantasy perspective until the last 3 games.
Yeah. I mean, like the role has been good for almost 2 weeks now. Basically they were like, they lost Derek Jones, and they're like, we need somebody else to play basketball for us. And every game he plays, they win. I mean, they've won. Look at every game he's active in, they win. 27 minutes in 6 straight. Obviously, Kawhi doesn't play starting in the Washington game, or he plays yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's like the numbers without Kawhi don't bear out this player. If you look at the seasonal numbers, like this is not, because he's like 0.85 fantasy points per minute, still like 19% usage. But the role, like then when he was playing without Kawhi versus now, are just two different things.
Right. I will say, last game he was having basically what I kind of expect Jordan Miller to be until and then he absolutely smashed in the fourth quarter.
He did.
Absolutely went bonkers. So I don't know what to make of this dude. Like, I think he's a very good player. I'm intrigued. I think the role is awesome, and there's a clear uptick in production now that Kawhi Leonard is out of the lineup. So I think he can pay off 5,400. I don't think it's as likely as, dude scored 35 plus fantasy points in 3 straight. He's definitely getting that here. I think you need to be careful about that.
Agreed. I just wanted to get your opinion because it has coincided with Kawhi's absence.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot. One of them was without John Collins, and like there's been a lot of moving parts. Is it just Golden State in the value tier for you, Keith? Like, is there anything else that you are intrigued by?
I mean, Pelle Larsson is okay just because of the game environment. I don't think he has as much upside as the Golden State guys or the Utah guys.
Utah. Yeah, Clayton. You can play Clayton here too.
Yep. I think even Harper is a better play than Larsson. So no, I'm not really intrigued by anything until we get to Golden State.
So Moody, you're in on Moody 41?
Yes. Like it's hard to break down these Golden State guys because I would say probably 3 or 4 of them smash, but it could legitimately be any of the 3 or 4. I will say I'm more into like playing the angle that Curry doesn't go off for 40 actual points, and then guys like Moody and Podziemski can all get there. And the way that I play this in my like 40 lineups is I will limit it to 3 or 4 of these guys and just rotate them throughout my lineups. Like I'm going to have exposure to every single one of them. I already talked about how I think you should flip ownership on some of these spots. Like give me Melton more than Moody and Podziemski just because he's far less popular. But it doesn't mean that I think that Moody's going to fail. Like I might end up at the field instead of 20% over the field, but it doesn't mean that I think that Moody's going to fail. He's still a fantastic play.
Right. 4,100 it's a very good price to get to for a starter who's going to probably play 30 minutes tonight with all their injuries. Yeah, that's it. We had a couple questions. We'll go to Schnabes here. Ant Jaquez or Ingram Norm? That is a whale of a question there.
Yeah, both very good options. I prefer the first one. It's a little bit risky because of the blowout angle with Ant, but I think there's more upside there. You need Utah to keep up, obviously.
I also would go with the first one as well. Mr. Daredevil wants to play Jordan Miller, and we'll get to your slow-mo questions because it's all dependent on what Utah does with their starting lineup. And then we'll be able to answer that if we know that more. Small forward we go. A lot of red here. Outside the red, Durant, Watson, DeRozan, the aforementioned Norm Powell. Nick Nurse just spoke to the media and said Paul George is a game-time decision. Easton's questionable. Jaden McDaniels, 62. Is small forward a definite spend down position for you today?
Yeah, Peyton Watson is interesting. He's come back to earth a little bit. Obviously, they got blown out last game, but even before that, the production had slipped from the elite levels, and that kind of coincided with Gordon playing more minutes, which is a little bit concerning, but I do still think there's 40 fantasy point ceiling here. So he's intriguing as a large field play that nobody's playing. We talked about Norm. We love him. Even touched on Miller. I'm going down below 5K outside of a few shots on Watson. And obviously the Norm exposure.
But. Yeah, and you could play Jaquez here, 55 as well. Talk to me about the value range. We could play D'Anthony Melton here. So obviously, I think a lot of your D'Anthony Melton exposure probably does come at small forward today. Yep. With how good point guard is and how many options you have there. You mentioned Larson. We talked Moody.
We got one more Golden State piece.
We got Buddy. We got Buddy Hield at $3,300, who was basically DMPing for like 2 weeks. Has reemerged in the rotation, seeking vengeance, making shots left and right, like we know Buddy Hield can do. How much exposure to a $3,300 Buddy Hield do you have today?
An uncomfortable amount.
Okay, because he is currently 10%. I'm updating right now. Yeah, he's currently 10% rostered. Has that gone down?
I'm seeing like 13%.
Yep. I see 2.
Wow.
Recent update, I see 2% for Buddy Hield.
Okay, I haven't refreshed since we jumped on the show, so it's possible that other sources that I'm looking at might be down in that range as well. But this is just like the Melton play.
Right.
Like, would it surprise anyone if Buddy Hield played 28 minutes tonight? It would not surprise me.
No.
And like no one can project that because we just haven't seen it. You just said he's been DNPing. How do you project him to play upper 20s minutes? Right. But it would surprise no one with Jimmy Butler out of the lineup if Buddy Hield stepped into a major role. And he's a guy that can shoot the lights out. Like, he can make 4 or 5 threes in this spot. Like 3,300, he can shoot terribly and still pay that price off. So if he's going to be 10%, I mean, I'm going to be triple the field probably. 30, 40% of Buddy Hield. He's just way too cheap for what he can do.
I don't buy the 2% for the record. That's just what the update was, and I'm interested to see where it falls. And I wonder if that has to do with like the Santos upgrade, kind of, because Santos didn't play yesterday, and I wonder if it has to do with just like the Steve Kerr being Steve Kerr, right? And that's also why he's potentially 2% rostered, because people don't know how many minutes he's going to play. I mean,
he could DNP tonight as well. Like, he could play 28 minutes or he could DNP.
Very live to do so. Live to do so. I feel you on being overweight on Buddy Hield because he is a good fantasy player. And if he gets 20 minutes at 3,300, I mean, we've seen it in back-to-back games. He does not need a lot to get hot. He is a very good fantasy player. Is there anything else down here that is intriguing? We have a lot of questions I want to touch on, but is there anything we've missed? I mean, I see Tim Hardaway getting a lot of ownership kind of out of nowhere. D'Anthony Melton, by the way, Keith, the 4th highest rostered small forward since we started our show. I don't know if we've had any influence on the field, but he is now the 4th highest rostered small forward of the day, which is a little bit shocking to see.
Yeah,
but
bummer.
The field is smart, right? They are smart.
Yeah, I mean, they see those big fantasy performances in not many minutes as well. Right. Like point per minute, obviously good. And then you add the what if element, and then all of a sudden it starts to become a pretty comfortable click. Like, Melton is a far more comfortable click, even though he's more expensive, than Buddy Hield, because you feel good about Melton's role. You don't necessarily feel as comfortable about Buddy Hield's role.
You definitely don't feel good about Buddy Hield's role. No. All right. Before we go to power forward, we'll get to some questions here. And it's a good question because we are going to power forward. Steve Smith said Draymond is questionable, but Steve Smith did say yesterday he expected him to play. It just makes you wonder how bad the ankle actually is, right? Because it's an ankle injury that forced him to downgrade yesterday. So he did, but Steve Kerr also lies all the time. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think Kerr would flat out say he's going to play and then he won't. So I think the questionable tag is kind of just in case he aggravates it in warmups or something. Like,
sure,
I expect Draymond to play. That's where I'll leave it.
I expect him to play too, but it does. You never know, like how bad. Like if it's an ankle sprain.
Sure,
Like
you could
I've
wake
sprained
up
my
with
ankle
swelling
before,
or something
right?
like that.
Yeah. Right. So that did happen, Steve. You didn't dream about it, but it is obviously something to monitor. No Barnes tonight. Did one of us say that? If I don't know if one of us said no Scotty Barnes, but he's active. Do we think Drummond starts? We'll get to Philly's nightmare situation in a second. Thoughts on Scotty? Well, we're at power forward, so we can just get our thoughts out on our chest. Thoughts on Scotty?
A great fantasy player.
Yeah.
Like somebody I'm never going to tell you not to play. Like as much Golden State as I'm playing, I want some of these Raptors as well, just to buy into the game environment a little bit. Right. So yeah, I'm in. Similar to Ingram, he's not like a main target for me, but that's somebody that I definitely want exposure to.
Alrighty. Appreciate you for always popping in, Schnabes. Jim or JJM is also saying Pajemski a lock. Dan wants to know about Simone Fontecchio.
Not for me, I don't think, unless he
has been in the rotation. Yesterday, they're playing him over Jovic. I think he ran really good yesterday and then got the blowout run at the end.
Yeah. I don't trust the role. I think he's more in the teens minutes than he is the upper 20s that he saw.
Agreed. Kevin Love is out. Yes, I know this has to do with the Kyle Anderson stuff. We'll get to that in a second. Thoughts on Kelly Oubre here?
He's fine. If George is out, then absolutely, I'd be in. Yes. 35 minutes was very nice to see. So I think you can expect that again if George is out. I don't feel as comfortable about it with George in.
Agreed. He won't start.
Right.
So.
Which basically means he's not going to play 30 minutes.
Which basically means he's not going to play 30 minutes. Steph Curry, 25 points.
Sure. Yeah.
Stochastic had Kuminga at 40%. That feels wrong.
Yeah, I assume that somebody had projected him to start mistakenly, and then they're like, "Oh no, he's getting traded. He's not even going to play today," and they have since fixed that, I would assume.
Yeah, there's literally been reports that he was asked to go in the game, and he said, "No, I have a back injury." So he's never playing for the Warriors again. Kevin Love and Sense, yes, they are. Steve, no, I'm not a smart man. I don't know if he's singing. This might be a song, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's either that or a movie quote. I do know that the Panthers wide receiver is a huge movie buff as well.
Okay, so. Okay, then gotta be movie. There's the exact quote, Steve Kerr, followed by Ted saying, "If Steve Kerr said it was raining, I'd still look out the window."
Agree.
He agrees, Draymond. Thoughts on Scotty is what I meant. Oh, okay. Sorry, Ben. Mamu. Yeah, we're going to get to Mamu at center. Definitely live to see Scotty start at the 5. And we saw Scotty start at the 5 previously. He had a 20 rebound triple-double. So, take that for what it's worth. We'll talk Coach Chris, I saw your comment before. We'll get to it. Forrest Gump, sorry. I mean, I've seen Forrest. I'm not like a great movie quoter.
Neither am I. Yeah. I knew it was from a movie just because I knew the source, but I had no idea. No idea.
You had a source. You had a source on this one. Like you knew. And then best value on the slate, Pajemski. Do you think Brandon Pajemski is the best value on the slate? Number 1.
Without looking, I'm going to say he's absolutely one of the top values. And now I'm going to look and see projection-wise if that is actually true. And it is.
For sure.
He is the best value on the slate.
He is projected to be the best and the highest rostered play of the day.
Yep.
Rest of power forward. Shingun's here. LeBron's here. Julius Randle was getting a bunch of ownership earlier today. Still is getting a really solid amount. We have Watson and DeRozan, as we talked about. We didn't really talk Paul George. He's here at 68. We have Aaron Gordon, 67. Talk to me about like anything power forward related that you want.
Yeah, LeBron's been really good without Austin Reeves. Like, he does not look like a 41-year-old out there. That's for damn sure. Dude's turning back the clock and doing things that we've never seen people of his age do in this league.
Yeah,
so
insane.
Shout out to him. I don't know if I'm getting to a ton of him on this slate, but what he's doing is certainly interesting.
Right.
Randall's intriguing just because of the matchup we've talked about. It's a league best matchup. He's cheaper than Anthony Edwards, so even if the game gets away from us a little bit, like, he doesn't have to do as much as Ant. Totally comfortable with that play. I think I'm going down to Aaron Gordon after that, who has been playing more minutes, playing at the 5. Like, I think another guy who's eventually going to be seeing like mid-30s minutes, and he's trending in that direction. So the price is lagging behind where the production is headed, I think.
Dude, I love Aaron Gordon in this spot today. Yeah. I was looking at some of the numbers without Jokic and friends, because obviously they're without 4 rotation pieces. Almost a 26% usage, almost 1.2 fantasy points per minute. He gets a 10% assist percentage increase, and he gets a 2.5% rebound percentage increase, both leading the team in those categories. They're using him as a hub, as Jokic. Like, he's not ever going to be Jokic, but like a 10% assist percentage increase, and then he has 11 assists. Like, they're just using him as Jokic, right? It's Jokic with like a lot more athleticism. So I love it. And we've talked, you said it when we were talking about Murray, the Lakers stink defensively. 24th defensive rated team this year. I love Aaron Gordon in the spot.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. He's too cheap for the role, and that's without the elite role that you just mentioned that might be forming here as well. I'm talking like normal Aaron Gordon playing 32 minutes in this spot is too cheap.
Right. Yeah, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, different dog.
Yeah, you know? Right. There's far more upside here with this version.
Let's go down the value tier. I don't think there's anything that we need to talk about. I mean, Draymond at 58, Wiggins at 57 would probably be the 2 next guys we'd want to talk about here.
Yes, definitely. I prefer Wiggins just because I think he does a little bit more, has a little bit more upside, and I like the matchup a lot better. So it's Wiggins for me over Draymond, but both are totally fine.
Yeah. All of this fantasy production, by the way, was in the first half. He had all of that yesterday in the first half. I was like, holy cow, Wiggins is smashing tonight. And then he didn't score one singular fantasy point in the second half. What about the value? Jovic question. He's like DMP, like just straight DMP'd yesterday. They played Fontecchio over him. Michael, you can't play Jovic comfortably at all at 4,200. Anything else we need to talk about here?
I don't think so. There's just the value at other positions is so much stronger. So no, nothing here for me.
Center we go with about 10 minutes left in the show. Yes, we do like Walter Clayton Viz. We do quite a bit. We have had a couple Iguodaro questions. They did just confirm like 15 minutes ago, Mark Williams is available. We have seen him on back-to-backs come off the bench, so that I guess that's worth mentioning. Is there a world where you would play Oso Iguodaro at 3,300?
He's fine, I guess. I don't love it. I think, how much is Post? Is he way more expensive?
No, I mean, it's 500. I think there's two other centers down here I'd rather play.
Yes.
In this range, in this $3,000 range. I would play Dylan. I would play Dylan Cardwell over him. And I would play Quentin Post over him.
Yeah, Post is the one I definitely knew you were talking about. I love the Cardwell shout as well. He's a guy that can fill it up in a hurry. Like, the blocks upside is impressive. He's a great rebounder. And we've seen when he's having these games, they will extend him. 26 minutes last game. Like, and that it's alongside guys like Sabonis and Reynaud. Like he's playing alongside those guys.
Did he play more minutes than Domantas Sabonis, Maxime Reynaud, and Precious Achiuwa last game? He played more than all of them.
Yep. Great call.
Doesn't mean he will, but like, you know, Floyd Mayweather once said, the proof is in the pudding. You know, like, he's just kind of a good fantasy player. So I would, if you're looking in this range, and I know Coach Chris also had the Iguodaro/Capella comment, I would rather get to Cardwell over probably any of those other plays. So there's my 2 cents. Let's get back up to the top position. Wemby, one of the best tournament plays on the slate. Yes or no?
100%. I have played the absolute crap out of Wemby the last 2 nights, and it's worked out just swimmingly. This is what you do in tournaments. You see that he's back in the starting lineup. He's played 26 minutes. He's played 27 minutes. Like, you just see those minutes creeping, and you know that nuclear explosion. He was the cover of the playbook that the first time that he went off for me, because you just know that 30 minutes, 60 fantasy point game is coming from this dude. Like, it's what he does. I'm going right back to him and going way over the field on him tonight.
3% rostered for Victor Wembanyama, but it's because he's $1,000 plus too cheap.
Yes, and nobody's playing him. Like,
no one's playing him.
Like, he's gonna be higher than that because of what he's done. Like, people are gonna like just force him into their lineups. They're gonna bump his projection to get him into sims, like things like that. He's gonna be higher than 3%. But even if he's 12%, I'm still gonna be over the field on him.
We'll see what the ownership comes in at, because there's some other really good center plays tonight that the field is flocking to. In this next tier specifically, the field is going right back to Bam Adebayo. Good on them. He has been really good outside of last night. And
I'm going to say that Bam will not shoot 1 for 13 again. Just going to go out on a limb and say that.
It's bold of you to say that. Honestly, it's very bold of you. But like, dream spot going right back to Bam, and Khalil Ware is questionable. So like, could get an extended Bam Adebayo tonight after only playing 26 minutes last night. The field is going, clicked Yusuf Nurkic. Didn't mean to do that. The field's going right back to Ivica Zubac tonight, 7K, dream spot. I looked this up, Keith. Zubac gets the second most paint touches in the NBA per game. The Bulls allow the 5th most points in the paint. We've talked about this all year. The Bulls have nothing to stop anyone from scoring in the interior. And now you're taking a 7-footer with like very good skill who gets the second most paint touches in the NBA in a game. Like, yeah, I can see why 20% of the field is getting there. Like, what say you about this tier of center, Bam, Nurkic, Zubac, Gobert, like all that tier right there?
Yeah, Zubac is the one that I want to be over the field on. Like,
agreed.
He has just smashed without Kawhi in general. And now he gets an elite matchup against Chicago and Nikola Vucevic. Like, yes, please, on Zubac. Like, I think 20 and 15 is very much in his range of outcomes here tonight. Yes. Like, he's absolutely just going to put it to Chicago. I'd like him better than Bam, a little bit cheaper. I think he has more upside. And I think they're going to be equally as owned. So give me Zubac over Bam.
Agreed.
I'm not getting to a ton of the other guys, like, even though they're low owned. Like, I think a low owned Vucevic can always be played, but with as much as I'm getting to Wemby and Zubac, like, I don't have enough roster spots left over.
If Yusuf, so we'll now full circle to the Kyle Anderson comment we had from earlier. Utah is doing the same thing over and over. If Yusuf Nurkic starts, Kyle Anderson has typically DMP'd. And they'll just use Filipowski as the backup center. Or Kevin Love, which they did yesterday. If Nurkic is not starting, he will DMP, and then it will be Filipowski and Kyle Anderson as their 2 centers. So you will need to know whether or not who the Utah Jazz starting lineup is. But that's how they've done it every game, right? Nurkic doesn't start, he DMPs. Filipowski and Anderson are your two centers for the game. So just keep that in the back of your mind if you're rostering Kyle Anderson. Just we just had a Precious comment. I'm gonna let you take this one. I
think you just explained why you can't go to Precious, and the name is Dylan Cardwell. I think there's kind of a changing of the guard here. Like Precious probably still starts, but I think we just saw it last game. He played 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I think they have something in Cardwell, and they want to see a little bit more of it at least. So I would not expect Precious to play 30 minutes in this spot.
And also, like, it's hard to click Precious Achiuwa for a narrative. Like he was once on. Precious Achiuwa has played for a lot of teams at this point. Like he's played for Toronto, Miami, New York. Like
he also plays on a team with Russell Westbrook and Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and DeMarcus Sabonis. Like what option on that team is he? 6, 7? Like
got him.
Oh no,
got him.
Sorry, 7, 8.
Yeah, 7, 8. Yeah, I mean that was your fault.
It was my fault. Walked right into it.
Ben, no, Josh Giddey is currently listed as questionable. So we will be waiting for the Josh Giddey status. But this is the first time he has been upgraded he was upgraded to doubtful last game and then questionable this game. So obviously things trending in the right direction. Best 3 Clippers tonight. I
mean, clearly Harden Zubac at the top.
Yeah,
clearly.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's another value that is like above the others. I think there's like you can play Miller. I would put I think it's Miller, Collins, and Dunn in the next tier.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a strong preference between those 3.
Okay. Yeah, I would pick Miller, but I agree with your sentiment. Let's go down the rest of center. It's basically the field is just playing Mamu Kelishvili. If Mamu doesn't start versus Mamu starting, what is your opinion on him? And like because he's currently listed as the highest rostered center of the day.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't start, ownership goes down, and he's a better tournament play.
Okay, well that's the Keith. That's the Keith Eister special right there. You are praying that Mamu is not starting.
Yeah, and I think it's like a 50-50 chance. Honestly, like I think they just as easily could start Scotty tonight.
Yeah, I mean they're shorthanded. But they could if they do if they go Shed Agbaji to fill out the starting lineup.
Yep.
And you around quickly Ingram, Scotty, then I could see that as well. So it just depends on what their opinion is. We know the Warriors are going to start Quentin Post at center, but Quentin Post is not guaranteed minutes past that. And yes, Steve, if Mamu doesn't start, Scotty would play the 5 for sure.
Yep.
We had a Drummond question. I personally, Keith, I'll jump in here, and then if your opinion's different, I have no interest in anything Philly center related because Watford back just muddies the waters for me. It's a disgusting situation for me.
Even if Bona starts, you don't have interest?
I guess if Bona starts, that would be the one thing that I'd be okay with because he is like very good defensively, very good shot blocker, very good rebounder. But like if
I'm with you on the Drummond stuff, like it just feels like he's not really part of their plans anymore. Like used to be Embiid's out, Drummond's playing 35 minutes. Like that was what was happening early in the season. We've seen it a couple times now where that's no longer the case. So Bona is the guy who kind of has the role in the rotation. Like they're forcing Bona into the rotation anyway, almost. So if he's starting, I would have a little bit of interest there.
Agreed. But that's it. It's like you need him to start. You need him to start. Anything else at center that we haven't talked about? We have some questions. TJD, if Draymond's out, he'll definitely be in the rotation. I think that if we get the Draymond out, Quentin Post will be like the highest rostered player of the day at $3,800 or one of them at least. What about TJD if Draymond's out?
Yeah. That's not a comfortable one. I feel way better about Buddy Hield even than I do
Agreed.
about TJD.
Agreed.
But I would have some exposure. I do think you can play Quentin Post even with Draymond active, just because he's probably going to play 18 to 20 minutes regardless, and is a very good fantasy point per minute guy, especially without Butler. Should be able to find enough in that time.
And Horford out helps too.
Yes. Yep. So I actually I love what I'm seeing with the ownership right now with Draymond projected in. I'll be over the field on it.
Yeah, about 16% I see on Quentin Post, which is
and I'm not going to take a massive stand on him like Hield or Melton, but I'll be at like 20-25% probably.
Right. Warriors are getting, I mean, we have 7 players getting double-digit ownership right now. So they are definitely the most popular team. Favorite Heat player for Michael, and then we'll get a core built for the folks at home.
Favorite Heat player is going to be, I mean, it's a toss-up for me, and I think you're on the same too. It's Norman Powell or Jaime Jaquez. Jaquez is a little bit cheaper. I'll go Jaime.
I'm gonna go Jaquez as well. I covered one in my playbook. I'd be a fraud if I went any other way.
Yep.
All right, let's get a core built. We're gonna play Jaquez because that's the stand that we are taking. Jaime Jaquez at 5,500. What other stands do you want to take? I mean, you're over the field on Luka and you're over the field on Wemby. Those are 2 players that you were like.
Yes, I think Wemby is just, it's a tough matchup. He's just coming off 2 smashes though. If you want to talk about a matchup proof player, is there any player that's more matchup proof in the entire league?
No.
Yeah, Houston's a great defense. I just don't care. Wemby is amazing. The center position, the value at center, I think the only argument I would make is if you prefer Zubac, I would be okay with that. But Wemby is definitely one of the guys I want to be significantly over the field
on. What Golden State, because that's going to build. That's going to be a core part of our build. So we're contrarian with Wemby. What Golden State do we want to take stances on here?
Pods and Moody are the 2 that are the easiest to click. I would say Melton is my favorite play from Golden State, and it's not really close.
Okay, let's do Pods and Melton both, because I think we can play both of them as core options. It's a little uncomfortable if they both come off the bench, but they are without Jimmy Butler. They are without Al Horford, who's been playing a pretty substantial role. So I'm comfortable.
There are not many situations where I'll allow 4 players from the same team into my builds, and I think I will allow 4 Golden State in tonight.
I agree. I think tonight's a good and that would become much easier. Let's say if a Will Richard and a Draymond get ruled out, because then it's all systems go for basically anyone wearing a jersey.
Yep.
Give me one more piece that that we want to add. It's probably one of the point guards, because with Wemby you can get to a Harden or a Maxey or a Murray or a Curry.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know how to pick one of those guys. Since we're not going Zubac, I think I'll go Harden. But man, I have nothing against Maxey or Murray either.
We'll call it there. We had a couple Clint Capella comments. Any final thoughts before we get out of here on Capella?
No, I don't really. Not even really on the radar.
Yeah, no Steven Adams, so he might.
Yeah, but I mean, Quentin Post is there and going to start and going to play more minutes.
And Cardwell is there.
And Cardwell, we like as the low-end pivot. Yeah.
Okay. Big shout to you, Keith, for filling in. We'll be back with the preview show later. Roster lock at 7 p.m. Guys, stay hip to the news. There is a lot of news that will be coming out after lineup lock. Again, there's 1 game at 7, and then there's 6 more 8 p.m. or later. And we have a lot of prevalent news in the 10 p.m. window. So
going to need the Utah starting lineup, going to need the Golden State starting lineup, lots of stuff to pay attention to in addition to the injury news as well.
Yes. So please make sure we're if you guys need help, come over to the Fantasy Alarm Discord and we'll be sure to help you out there. We'll be back